The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by Harv Eker. In this video, we've summarized 10 lessons that show how people pick up rigid attitudes and patterns of behavior about money from their parents without even realizing it. These habits will affect their future wealth. It shows the most important rules and ways of thinking that millionaires live by, which anyone who wants to get rich should adopt. Certain ways of thinking set us up to be wealthy. Money and wealth mean different things to different people. Some people have the Midas touch and turn everything they touch into gold. Others make a lot of money with a good business idea, but then get too proud and throw it all away or lose it on bad investments. Others don't invest anything and are always broke. Many people believe that if they learn enough about business strategies and money management, they will be financially successful on their own. But their income and financial transactions aren't so much based on skill, luck, or fate as they are on the habits of thinking that we all have. Everyone has certain ways of thinking that are permanently stored on their hard drives. Some people are programmed to make a lot of money, while others are programmed to make a medium or low income. Childhood experiences and role models shape the way we think and act in such a way that they directly affect how much money we have as adults, no matter how much money we're talking about. Thousands, millions, or even billions. People's incomes rarely change from what they were told they could make when they were young. Why? Because their minds keep them in balance like a thermostat. If their thermostat is set too low, as soon as they get a little extra money, they spend it all. But if their thermostat is set to high or wealth, they save right away when they don't have enough money and usually make sure that their wealth grows. Most people are programmed to make a low income, which means that many people have the potential to get rich, but very few people manage to stay rich and build up lasting wealth. Self-made billionaires, on the other hand, like Donald Trump, can lose unimaginable amounts of money but always get it back because they think like billionaires. Whoever wants to follow in their footsteps should learn to forget their old ways of thinking and replace them with millionaire thinking. Lesson 1. The way we think about money is shaped by what our parents taught us. Our minds are like computers. The most important programs were installed when we were young, and the patterns we have now are based on what we learned as children. The things our parents told us over and over about money when we were young stay in our minds forever. They shape our ideas, which in turn shape how we think about money as adults. Some sayings about money, like "money is the root of all evil," "money doesn't grow on trees," and "you can't buy happiness," are ingrained in our minds and shape how we think about money. Parents have the most influence on how we act when we are young, so there are only two ways to deal with what they think about money and wealth. We can agree with them and accept them, or we can rebel against them and turn away from them. Either we have the same ideas about money and wealth as our parents, or we want to do things very differently. But resistance alone isn't enough to break the pattern of your financial blueprint. This is because people who rebel often want to get rich for the wrong reasons. They don't really want to get rich, they just want to rebel against or feel better than their poor parents. The behavior they learn from their parents is still so strong that even if they work hard and make some money, they will probably lose it quickly if they haven't done a lot of work on themselves and broken the money blueprint they've internalized. But people who learn early on that anything is possible with money will find it much easier to make money because the desire to be free and independent through wealth can also be satisfied with money. Lesson 2. We unconsciously use the same ways to make money that our parents did. The way our parents earn and spend their money has a big effect on how we feel about money and wealth. "That's how my mother always did it" is a good answer to why you handle money the way you do, just like "that's how I learned to make macaroni" is a good answer to why you make macaroni the way you do. So when you were a child and asked your mother for money and she told you to ask your father, you got the idea that men handle money and women can't. Or if our parents lived through something like World War II or an economic crisis, their experiences of lack will shape the way we act, and we will always feel like we don't have enough money no matter how much we have. The things we do and see when we're young help us figure out how to handle money for the first time. This is because we've carefully watched and remembered how our parents handled money. And when we get our first jobs as young adults, we unconsciously copy the ways our parents made money. Eker uses his own experience as an example. As a builder, Eker's father made a lot of money by buying and selling houses, but he would put all of that money into new projects, which left him broke. Eker's early business attempts were just like this constant roller coaster ride. but he didn't know why they were failing. Man is a creature of habit, and it's not easy to unlearn something we've learned. We can only break away from the ways our parents taught us to think as adults if we are aware of them and turn the switch. Lesson 3. Take a good look at your current way of thinking before you try to change it. If you don't reach the level of wealth you want, it's usually because of something inside you that you don't even realize. But you can always change your mind. The first step to getting richer is realizing that you're stuck in this way of thinking, which is why you're not getting rich. Once you've figured out how to break the pattern, you need to figure out where it comes from. What habits and ways of acting did we pick up from our parents, and what did they make us do? Which ways of thinking do you follow? How much money have you been set up to make? How do we keep our bank account balances high without being aware of it? Write down how your role models handled money and which of your parents' sayings have stuck with you and changed the way you act. This will give you an idea of how you are programmed. Did always hearing "we can't afford that" make you think you'd never be able to buy anything? Analyzing your current financial situation can be very enlightening because it shows you how you're set up. The amount of money in your bank account shows you how much money you're set up to make right now, and whether you should spend more or save more. Whether we unconsciously want to make money or lose money is shown by how well our investment businesses do. During your self-examination, once you find out how you've been conditioned, all you have to do is realize that you can think differently and change yourself. You can do this by flipping a switch in your inner world, or your thoughts, and replacing the old thought patterns with new ones that lead to wealth. Lesson 4. Change the pattern by following new rules and doing things differently. It would be great if you could get rich by reading books about how to make money or what you need to do differently to make millions. But unfortunately, that's not enough. We can't just save new information about money on top of the old information. We have to overwrite the old information. When we were young, we were told over and over again how to think about money. If we want to change them, we need to find new, better ideas about money and wealth and repeat them to ourselves like a mantra. That means, in particular, that if you say the ways rich people think out loud to yourself every night, they will slowly become part of your way of thinking, and you will start to replace your usual way of thinking with the millionaire way. I have a millionaire mind, or my money works hard for me and earns more and more are examples of catchy statements. Of course, you can only organize the files you already have in your storage cabinet if you change the way you act. Only by doing something yourself can you really learn something new. People are creatures of habit, so if you want to change how you feel about money, you need to change your habits. By doing this, Harv Eker broke out of the behavior pattern he had picked up from his father. He started a fitness store and didn't stop until he had made millions of dollars from it. We also need to teach ourselves how to act right. Say you're at a mall and you see a handbag on sale. Usually you'd be taught to think, "Get it. It's a good deal." But now is exactly when you need to use your new plan. If you're already in debt, don't buy anything else. By verbally confirming your thoughts all the time and taking action, you can slowly unlearn the wrong ways of thinking and learn how to act like a millionaire. Lesson 5. If you want to be wealthy, you have to learn to control your own life. If you want to be financially successful, you have to believe that you are in charge of your own financial life. Rich people know they are in charge, but poor people are always in the back seat, giving up control of their money to others. People who are already poor often spend half of their income on lottery tickets in the hopes of getting lucky and becoming rich. Rich people, on the other hand, don't gamble or wait for money to come to them. People who are poor often see themselves as victims and point the finger at anyone they can, such as the government, their boss, or the economy. But until you realize that you control how much money you make, nothing will change. If you find yourself blaming others for your financial problems or complaining about them, you should always remember that you are in charge of your success and failure. Look for the reasons why you failed and stop thinking like a victim. Make a list of all the times something went wrong and figure out how much was at stake. For example, do you have a negative balance for the third month in a row because you've been shopping too much? Would it have been smarter to do more research on the fund that the bank talked you into buying, but whose value went down? Instead of complaining, think about what you can change and how you can make things better for yourself. Then you can set out on the path to wealth with your eyes open. Lesson 6. People who want to become millionaires should have a good attitude about money. People who don't have much money tend to believe that you can't be good and rich at the same time. This is not true of millionaires. You also have to like money if you want to get rich. People who are poor often think too much about how bad wealth is. They worry that people will only like them because they have money, or even worse, that it will make them bad people. They are also afraid of the work and responsibilities that come with being rich, which is a problem in many ways. Anyone who only sees the things that stand in the way of making money and feels doomed to fail is missing out on a lot of opportunities to make money. Rich people, on the other hand, can spot good opportunities and businesses that could make them money. They are willing to take calculated risks and are always hopeful that they will be able to make back the money they lose. The good thing about taking chances is that big risks lead to big rewards. Your wealth will grow if you jump on opportunities with optimism and ignore potential problems. If you want to get rich, you should also like rich people. People who are poor can't get ahead because they have bad feelings about millionaires, such as envy and mistrust. If you hate rich people, you'll never want to be wealthy yourself, and you won't want to hang out with rich people who could give you good advice about how to get ahead financially. So if you want to think like a millionaire, you need to think more positively about money. If you care about what you want, in this case, money, you are more likely to get it. You can become rich if you learn to respect rich people and not be jealous of their money.
Lesson 7. Only if you give it your all can you get rich. Rich people know from the start that they want to be wealthy, so they work hard to get there and never give up. People who want to be rich but aren't willing to do or give up much to get there will stay poor. People will only be wealthy if they are fully committed to it and would bet their lives on it. Working hard for 16 hours a day for an undetermined amount of time and accepting that you'll have less freedom are both parts of this commitment. It's also important to keep pushing yourself and to keep working on yourself. Your wealth will only grow if you grow as a person. You and how you act are also important parts. Your money will grow only if you grow as a person. If you want to learn more about wealth strategies, you should definitely keep studying, go to seminars, and read books about capital investments and investing. The more you know about how money works, the more money you can make. In the end, committing means starting a business or getting into a profitable field. Since most rich people own some kind of business, even though luck also plays a role in the success of a business model, your wealth won't amount to anything if you haven't taken the first step, which is to make a business plan that can make money in the future. The best way to get where you want to be is to start working in the industry you want to be in, no matter what position. If you want to open a chain of restaurants, the best way to learn is to work in catering and pick up tips from your manager. If you don't have any unique business ideas of your own, you can join someone else's. In this case, you need to make a deal with yourself to become a millionaire or more and give your business ideas your full attention. Lesson 8. If you want to become a millionaire, you should aim for the stars. The goal of millionaires is to have a lot of money, while the goal of everyone else is to have enough money to live on. In turn, the universe will grant these wishes because how much money you think about also matters. The equation is simple. Big thinking leads to big actions, which opens the door to making big money. When you think small and act small, you get a small income. Most people find it hard to serve a large market with a large-scale service. If you want to get rich, you should think about how many people you can reach with what you do. Do you mean 20 or 20,000? Your income is also affected by how many people you reach with your work, so you should decide if you want to reach a few thousand people or the whole world. In this situation, services done by a person are not good. If you're a professional masseur, for example, you can't serve more than a certain number of clients in a 24-hour period. You could, at most, hope to make a good living, but millionaires of the future don't put limits on their income because time is the only thing that limits them. That's why it's not a good idea to get paid based on how long you've worked. Rich people and people who want to be rich don't get paid based on how long they work, but on how good their work is. Because quality has no limits, they wouldn't want to be massage therapists, but they would want to own a chain of massage studios and make a lot of money that way. But what if you haven't been taught to think big? In this situation, it would make sense to be around people who are also aiming for the stars. In other words, don't swim with the ducks if you want to fly with the eagles. People who are successful don't just make other people want to be successful. They also show them how to do what needs to be done. Lesson 9. You can only make money grow by taking good care of it. Earning a lot of money is one thing, but keeping it and making it grow is another.
Money management and dealing with money in a disciplined way are very important parts of becoming wealthy and successful. People often think wrongly that having a high income is all it takes to be rich, but a person's net worth, or the cash value of all their possessions, is the best way to figure out how rich they are. Gains from savings and investments are also important. You should try to make as much money as possible after taxes and invest it with an eye towards your financial future. People can find a good balance between their income, expenses, and savings if they keep an eye on the big picture and make a long-term plan for their money. You should hire a good financial planner to help you through the process. It is also very important to have a passive income, which is money you earn without working. For example, the money you get back from stocks or investment funds is a passive income. If you want to get rich, you should stop putting your money under your mattress and start managing it. No matter if you invest in real estate, land, or a good business idea, there are many ways to make your money grow quickly. Put your money into separate bank accounts. 50% should go to overhead costs, and 10% of every dollar you make should go into a separate account for capital investments or other investments that bring in money on their own. Also, 10% should go into a pleasure account so you can do something nice for yourself and feel like a millionaire, such as going to a fancy restaurant and ordering the most expensive thing on the menu. Saving is another way to get money. It's also important to keep your living costs as low as possible. If you keep spending all of your money on expensive cars and designer clothes, you'll never be rich. People will only become millionaires if they think about the long term and are willing to give up things they want right now. Lesson 10. If you want to be successful and wealthy, you have to think well of yourself. Rich people are different from people who don't have much money because they know their worth and believe they deserve to be rich. People with less money tend to think they are not good enough and don't believe in themselves. They don't get ahead financially because they don't think they're worth it and often unconsciously shy away from giving money to other people. Rich people know their worth, so they also know how to market themselves, their business ideas, or their company. Leaders usually have a lot of money because they make more money in their jobs. But to be a leader, you need followers, which you can only get if you can sell your ideas well. Most people who don't do well in life are taught that it's rude to toot your own horn. But in the world of money and business, the attitude is, if I don't blow my own horn, who will? People who think they aren't worth much will never get rich because they won't promote themselves. Find out what your talents are so you can see your value and then sell it to others. You can turn your talents into a service or product for your business and reach a lot of people. You should look for the right product because you need to be able to stand behind it 100%. So what can you do to make yourself feel like a millionaire and think of yourself more highly? Breathe in the air of the rich and do something nice for yourself, like joining a high-end gym or tennis club, or getting a coffee at the city's most expensive hotel. Everyone has their own ideas about how they want to get rich, but only those who believe in themselves will be able to get others to believe in them too. This book's main message is that the way we think and act as children sets the stage for how well off we will be as adults. We can only change it if we are aware of it, take action to change our attitude, and give ourselves millionaire thinking. In short, this book answers the following questions. How does the amount in our bank account show what we think? Certain ways of thinking set us up to be wealthy. How we think about money is shaped by what our parents taught us. We make money the same way our parents did without even realizing it. How can we change the ways we think that we learned as kids? Before you change the way you think, you should take a careful inventory, breaking the pattern with new rules and new ways of doing things. If you want to become wealthy, you need to learn how to control your own life. People who want to become millionaires should think positively about money. Only if you give it your all can you get rich. If you want to become a millionaire, you should aim for the stars. You can only make money grow by taking good care of it. If you want to be successful and wealthy, you have to think well of yourself.
We're glad you watched. Thank you.